The forest was dense, as if it had grown to keep the world away. The air smelled of wet pine and decaying leaves, a pungent aroma that clung to the lungs and made breathing slightly heavier. Blackwater Lake lay hidden at the heart of this wilderness, its still surface reflecting the sky in distorted ripples, dark and foreboding. Evan Porter had driven hours from the city to escape from deadlines, emails, and the endless hum of urban life. He had rented the cabin online, an old log structure nestled against the mountainside, promising solitude and serenity. The photos looked quaint, rustic, peaceful, but nothing online could convey the weight of isolation, nor the oppressive quiet that seemed to press against his eardrums as he parked his truck and stepped onto the gravel path. He carried his journal, a leather-bound book he had purchased for this retreat. Evan planned to document his days here, to write, to think, to disconnect. The cabin's door creaked ominously as he pushed it open, and a wave of stale air greeted him, like the cabin itself had been holding its breath, waiting. The interior was simple: a stone fireplace, a wooden dining table, a small kitchenette, and 2 bedrooms. Dust clung to the corners, and cobwebs hung from beams like ancient chandeliers. Evan shrugged off his unease. Old buildings had smells. He made himself a fire, lit a lamp, and sat at the table with his journal. Day 1, October 14th. It's quiet. Too quiet. No wind, no birds, nothing. Just the water and the trees. Beautiful, but I feel like I'm being watched. Probably nerves. Cabin is perfect otherwise. Must relax. Night fell faster than he expected, darkness swallowing the forest outside the window. He lay in bed, hearing the occasional rustle of branches against the cabin walls. A shiver ran down his spine when a faint tapping sound began, rhythmic and soft, like fingernails against wood. He told himself it was a branch, a deer perhaps, but sleep didn't come easily. The next morning, Evan awoke to scratches along the wooden floor, just outside his bedroom door. The fire had died overnight, leaving a chill in the room. He approached cautiously. The marks weren't from a branch. They were deliberate, small, sharp, claw-like. Panic gripped him briefly before he told himself it was an animal, maybe a raccoon or a squirrel. Day 2, October 15th. I saw something, or maybe I didn't. Across the lake there was a figure, just standing, watching. I raised my binoculars, but it vanished before I could focus. Maybe it's my imagination. Cabin is too old. Shadows play tricks. But I swear I saw it. The journal entry shook slightly in his hands as he wrote, the scratching from yesterday echoing faintly in the back of his mind. He decided to explore the lake that afternoon. The path was narrow, lined with gnarled trees whose roots curled like snakes across the dirt. The lake was even more beautiful in daylight, dark, still, untouched. The sense of being observed only intensified. Evan noticed strange symbols carved into the trees along the path. They were jagged, almost primitive, but repeated in patterns. None resembled any language he knew. Goosebumps rose on his arms. He snapped a photo, but the image on the screen appeared slightly blurred, the carvings warped. As he turned to leave, the water's surface rippled unnaturally. A pale face emerged for a heartbeat. A woman's face, gaunt and wet, with eyes as black as obsidian, then gone. Evan stumbled back, heart racing, and ran toward the cabin, the journal almost slipping from his grasp. Night came quickly again. The forest seemed alive, whispering. Evan sat by the fireplace, journal open, writing to keep his mind from unraveling. Day 2 continued. I saw something, or maybe I didn't. Across the lake there was a figure, just standing, watching. I raised my binoculars, but it vanished before I could focus. Maybe it's my imagination. Cabin is too old. Shadows play tricks. I swear I saw it. He checked every door and window, locked, sealed, yet the whispering continued. The scratching returned, now louder, circling the cabin. His breath quickened. He couldn't see anything, but he felt the presence move around him, shifting just beyond the lamplight. A loud crash made him leap. The kitchen door had swung open. Nothing visible, only the shadows, and a single wet footprint, blackened and dragging, leading back toward the lake. Evan grabbed his journal and flashlight, planning to leave first thing in the morning. Sleep was impossible. Every creak, every whisper, every shadow seemed to reach for him. By the third night, Evan began hearing voices inside his head, not his own. Harsh, low whispers that spoke in a mixture of English and something older, guttural, harsh, like the sound of trees cracking in a storm. Day 3, October 16th. I think it's trying to speak to me, not words exactly, but images, faces in the fire, movements in the shadows. It wants me to go to the lake, wants me to see it. I can feel it inside me, a pressure in my chest. My own hands feel different, cold, strange. Evan awoke that night to find his journal open. The words on the page weren't his own. Dark, jagged letters scrawled across the paper, spelling warnings like, "Do not trust the reflection," "Do not follow," or "Become like us." He staggered to the window. The lake reflected the moonlight, smooth and silver, but the reflection wasn't his own. A shadowed version of him stared back, smiling. He fell to the floor screaming, but the cabin absorbed the sound, swallowing it as if it had never happened. Evan couldn't sleep. The whispers had grown louder, almost conversational now, curling around his mind like smoke. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the reflection again, grinning, beckoning. His own voice, distorted, cracked, urged him toward the lake. By dawn, he was shaking, feverish and disoriented. The journal lay open beside him, pages now filled with symbols he didn't recognize, curling into themselves like living things. Some seemed to writhe when he blinked. Day 4, October 17th. I can't leave. I don't want to, but the lake, it calls me. I see movement in the water, figures that vanish when I blink. The whispers are teaching me something, or forcing me to remember something I shouldn't. I feel not alone in my body, not entirely. The forest outside was silent, almost unnaturally so. Even the birds seemed to have fled. Evan's instinct screamed to flee, yet his legs carried him toward the water, as if drawn by a magnet. Earlier that morning, before the pull became irresistible, Evan had explored the cabin more thoroughly. He found a hidden trapdoor beneath the floorboards in the study. The latch was old, rusty, but moved easily under his shaking hands. Below, a narrow staircase descended into darkness. A pungent, iron-like smell hit him as he peered down. The walls were covered with ancient symbols, smeared and scratched into the stone. At the far end of the small underground room lay a single item, a wooden mask carved with a grotesque face, hollow eyes staring into nothing. Evan's curiosity battled with his fear. He picked it up. The air thickened. Whispers swelled to a cacophony of voices in his head. Names, dozens of them. Some familiar, some foreign, demanding attention, pulling him closer to the edge of control. The journal flared open on its own. A single line appeared. Once worn, the mask never leaves. The lake remembers. The forest hungers. By nightfall, Evan's resistance had faltered. He stood at the edge of Blackwater Lake, the moonlight silver on the dark surface. The whispers had become a chorus of insistence, urging him to step into the water. Then he saw them, figures beneath the surface, pale and thin, hair flowing like black kelp. Eyes glowed faintly. They rose, half submerged, their mouths opening in silent screams, reaching toward him. Evan stumbled back, tripping over roots. The air felt heavy, almost gelatinous, resisting movement. He turned to run, but the forest had changed. Trees twisted into impossible angles. Shadows moved independently, forming shapes, faces, hands, claws. Every direction was wrong. The cabin was nowhere to be seen. The whispers converged into one deep, commanding voice. Come to us. Become one with the lake. Panic surged. Evan ran blindly, branches tearing at his clothes, roots grabbing at his ankles. When he finally tripped and fell face first, the cold water of a small creek soaked him. He looked up. A figure stood above him, dripping wet but not moving like a normal human. Its eyes were voids. Its smile stretched unnaturally. Back in the cabin, or what he thought was the cabin, Evan collapsed on the floor. His thoughts were fragmented, reality bending. Every shadow became a living threat, every whisper a command. Day 5, October 18th. I don't know who I am anymore. The whispers, they're inside me. I see through their eyes sometimes. Sometimes I see through someone else's. The mask, the lake, it wants me too. It wants me. I can feel it in my blood. I can feel them in my blood. He awoke in the middle of the night with cold hands clutching his throat as if something invisible was strangling him. The journal vibrated, pages flipping violently. Symbols now covered the walls, glowing faintly in the lamplight. Outside, the lake shimmered unnaturally. A dark shape rose from the water, enormous and humanoid, but its movements were wrong, jerky and puppet-like. Its mouth opened impossibly wide, and a voice, his own but distorted, called his name. Evan could no longer resist. His feet carried him outside, the whispers guiding him, the shadowed figure waiting. The lake's edge felt like stepping into another world. Water was black as ink, reflecting not the moon, but a void filled with moving faces, screaming, reaching. Evan felt the pull stronger than gravity itself. The whispers screamed now, 1,000 voices overlapping. Join us. You belong here. You are ours. A tendril of dark water shot up, wrapping around his ankle. Pain shot through him like fire. He fell forward. Struggling, he looked down. The water was not water at all, but a writhing mass of bodies, pale and screaming silently. The final thing he saw before being dragged in was his own reflection, distorted and smiling, merging with the darkness, whispering, "Welcome home, Evan."